Hey, deserving listeners, Love is Blind, Season 9. Let's see what happens.
I don't hear anyone in my pod.
All right, so the cliffhanger to the last episode was that he entered the pods to see Anna. Patrick likes both Casey and Anna. He's entering into the pods, and the way that they make it look is that he's on the verge of proposing, and Anna isn't there. And I'm assuming that it isn't just a scheduling problem or she's in the bathroom, because they wouldn't have it be a cliffhanger. So I'm guessing this is maybe she left. She did talk about she was missing her family. This is the longest she's been away from her family. And she didn't even tell her family what she was doing here because she didn't think that they would accept why she was there. And that's one of the tragedies of that style of parenting, where you are very strict and are doing it because you care and you want to protect your kids. And, it's different cultural understandings of how long parents of adult children will exert their influence, so to speak. But that's one of the tragedies of that style of parenting, is that you end up as an adult child having to lie to your parents to live life. So I don't think, it's a great strategy. I was just trying to guess as to why Anna would just leave suddenly, because that's the way they're seeming to suggest here. Maybe she found out about something. Maybe she found out that he was connecting to Casey and it scared her or something. I don't know. I will say that I've been watching for signs of policies in the different lounges regarding how much they talk about who they're connecting with. If we remember from the last season, the guys had seemingly a policy across the board that they weren't going to talk about who they were connecting with, so that they didn't have to compete and they could still be friends with everyone. We saw Mason and Alex were really close in the lounge, and they didn't even know up until when it had to be revealed. They didn't know, and so whereas the women had a different policy, which is fine. There's pros and cons, and it looks like the men in the lounge, at least the little bits that I've seen, are not talking about who they're connecting with. But I haven't seen much evidence on the women's side. I say that because if the women are talking about it, then that would result in Anna potentially finding out about a connection with Casey. And I wonder, I'm trying to predict the future, but I wonder why they showed us that little clip of him saying, "Oh no, I haven't told anyone about this," meaning his ethnicity. And then she would find out that he did tell Casey. Anyway.
She never showed up.
I think someone asked Anna if she had ever ghosted someone before. She said, well, and I really liked her answer, because I feel like most people would say, no, I've never ghosted anyone. But she was careful about it, and she said, well, yeah, I don't think I would call it ghosting, but if I met someone on Tinder or Hinge or whatever, sometimes you meet up with someone for coffee and it doesn't really work out. There's no chemistry, and I won't text them back or I won't call them back. I don't know if I'd call that ghosting, but I've never ghosted someone that I've been with, in terms of a relationship, that kind of thing. And it's a good question. It's interesting to have that in the show, but it makes me wonder if she's ghosting him now. If that's why they include. I'm only 80% sure that was Anna that they were using, but I don't know. I don't know why I'm trying to predict the future. I'm sure you know what happens, but I guess this is all part of the fun. And watching a reaction video, you get to watch me be stupid. Is that part of the fun?
I think she has one other connection, but I think that her and I are just too strong of a connection for her to even think about her other connection personally. You just feel a certain way when you're with somebody,
You feel you were falling in love with her?
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting. Now, we don't know if he had her number one. Not that it matters that much, but it would add to the story. Sometimes people will say that and mean it when they have someone as a number two. But anyway, so where's Anna?
She is my person. Could be, for sure.
And I don't know why I'm looking for clues of things, but I'm guessing if she was number one, he would say that and it would be included. Who knows? So they're making it look like he's crying, but he could just be napping. And is he assuming that she left? Was he told? They're really leaving us in suspense here. I'm assuming that she's not just going number 2. Wouldn't that be funny? She's like, oh my God, boy, did I just have a thing in the bathroom. Whew. Sorry, so where'd we leave off?
I am most excited to see Anna today.
You'd like?
Hey, yeah.
So
All right, a rare moment where we're seeing footage of the producers and they're pulling him aside as he's about to go on a date with Anna, so maybe we'll finally find out what happened.
at home?
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna head out.
Okay, so I stopped in the middle, but she said, your date went home. I'm assuming Anna, because he also likes Megan W. Sparkle Lady.
What happened? I know she was on her date and she came back feeling bummed afterwards, and I don't know why. I think she was just like really like decombusting. And I feel so bad.
All right, we're still in suspense, but we're hearing from someone else that they observed she came back from the date and she was, oh, interesting. So this is after she learned that he was half Chinese, half Cambodian. And I wonder, who knows, but it wouldn't be strange for her to at least wonder if she's been dating white men, but sometimes for some people in Asia, they'll get micro about that thing. They would rather, given their racist notions of different groups of people, they would rather have their Chinese American daughter date a white guy before dating a half Cambodian guy. I don't know, but it didn't look like that in terms of the edit. Anna and Patrick had this really great date. They were on the verge of the L word and proposal. So for her to come back, maybe it was I don't know. I don't know why I'm doing this.
She's wanting to leave.
Like, go home.
I didn't know she was having that hard of a time.
She wasn't. It was like all at once.
Dude.
Okay, so her friend in the lounge, which they would know, right? They spent a lot of time together, and she's saying she wasn't having a hard time until all of a sudden. So sounds like maybe something she heard. So they're saying Anna chose to leave the experiment. Okay. Yeah, we've seen this before, and it's an overwhelming experience. And you're alone. You can't talk to anyone. I mean, you have some friends in the lounge, but you're not really with your people. So I hope everything's okay with her. But you would think you would say goodbye, even if you were angry, that you would just have a 2-minute conversation and say, sorry, I'm leaving because blank, I don't want to talk about it. You wouldn't just ghost. Oh, I just realized the title of the episode is Ghost Town.
She's got a boyfriend. They live together. She'll still come to my place. We'll like sauna together. Like jump in my sauna for a half hour.
This guy.
Okay. I don't know if you care for my reaction. So what he's saying is, so Edmund is asking, is his name Mike? I don't look it up, but asking, do you have any women friends that you haven't been with before? And he says, yeah, there's a woman that I used to date, but now we're just friends, and she is living with a guy. She is in a relationship, and sometimes she comes over to my place and we go into the sauna, which, could mean a lot of things. You could just be in your bathing suit. A lot of people might think otherwise. Her boyfriend might be totally fine with that. Who knows? But they're all assuming something's happening. Maybe something is. There, at the very least, could be some sort of mild cheating that's happening from her. The question would be, is she telling a boyfriend? I don't know why I don't know. I find that these kind of conversations, there's these simplistic explanations that people will have, but we don't know. We have no idea what the situation is. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp, and if you sign up, please use the link below because that really helps us out. So October 10th is World Mental Health Day, and this year, BetterHelp wants us to recognize how therapists around the world are truly making the world a better place, if I don't say so myself. And, I don't know where I'd be without the therapists that I've been to over the years, from the therapist that I went to in graduate school who challenged me, had the courage to challenge me on things that I definitely needed to be challenged on, to the therapist I've had more recently who supported me through some very difficult times. Yeah, finding the right therapist can make all the difference in the world. And for over 12 years, BetterHelp has been fine-tuning their process of matching people with the right therapist. So this World Mental Health Day, we're celebrating the therapists who have helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Kirk. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Kirk.
One of the guys over here he's a dad, and he basically said that his kid has diabetes. It's just like so crazy to me that that can be the case. I had a friend that was pre-diabetic, and he just like totally changed up.
All right, so to catch you up, he's talking with Megan W., and they're talking about how they're both really concerned about diet and health. He talked in an earlier episode about how he's in I think it was him, that he was in a rich guy consortium. One of the things they talked about was about men's health or something like that. Okay. I think it was him. Anyway, so in the process of them sharing that they're both dedicated to health, which is fine, also with their kids. And then he says that he talked with that other fellow who has a kid, 5-year-old boy, who has diabetes. And I'm thinking, how is that connected? And I thought, oh, he doesn't know. He thinks diabetes is only developed through diet. And so he's assuming that the 5-year-old boy, and he also the way he's talking about it, right, is concerned. Because I think for Megan W., she's going to, in all likelihood, be turned off by this. Because isn't Megan actually with the guy in question with the kid? Yeah. So Megan's other connection, in addition to Mike, is Jordan, the guy with the son, and also she's connecting with Blake, and that's her number one at this point. Anyway, so Mike is not number one, so I think Mike's going to go right now because now, on one hand, I don't blame someone for not understanding that there are different types of diabetes and different causes, but even with that, the way he's talking about it is pretty insensitive, and particularly because she really connects with Jordan and really likes Jordan's son, even though she hasn't met him, right? But she has, warm feelings towards the boy, and just the flippant way he's talking about it, judgmental, ick.
I had a friend that was pre-diabetic, and he just like totally changed up his diet, and now he's good. And so maybe it's not that easy for everyone, but
I could just sense the mob descending on him on the internet right now. There's nothing wrong with not knowing about diabetes. There's nothing wrong with having there's a lot of conversation that's happening. It still just has this tone of judgment. No, he doesn't, anyway, a sort of know-it-all superior, but I'm pretty sure it's going to backfire for him right now, not only with Megan, but with the world.
I just think like health and nutrition is just has to be top of mind. I still like communicate with my exes sometimes. There's no attraction, desire, nothing.
Interesting. So maybe that's why they showed us that little bit in the lounge where he was talking about how he goes into a sauna sometimes, and just the way he was talking about it, right? So I don't know if this is connected, but I think it was, that he is saying that, he's friends with his exes, which is fine. But the way he was talking about it with the guys in the lounge, at least the way it was edited, was, yeah, I'm friends with some of my exes. One of them, she has a boyfriend, but, we go into the sauna. So why would you frame it like that? If it is purely platonic, why are you mentioning that unless you're insecure and you're trying to demonstrate something? What did I write down about this guy? It's been kind of bland until this point. Yeah, I don't really have anything, but I will now.
They're friend zoned.
I follow 0 of my exes.
And then he says friend zoned. Let's rewind that.
Nothing there. They're friend zoned.
Ick. Now, it's not a high crime. He doesn't deserve internet hate, but I would not be attracted to someone like this. I wouldn't want to be their friend. I would recommend I wouldn't get, maybe he's fun to hang out with or take a sauna with, but ick. So he is compelled to make sure that you know that not only was he the one that broke up with all these women, but he friend zoned them. He's the man in control. Gross.
Follow 0 of my exes.
Okay.
I'll tell you that.
I love that.
I lied. I follow one of my exes,
Okay, which one?
but he's on mute.
And why do you follow him still?
And then the way it looks is that he has a double standard, which isn't unusual for men to do. Also, given his presentation, all of a sudden, because we weren't, all of a sudden, they're just giving us all this data about this dirtbag. I don't know if he's a dirtbag, but there are some signs.
Fairly amicable. Like, we're
Yeah.
not for each other.
Sorry, I don't mean to give you a hard time. I just like trying to push your buttons
Oh, okay.
a little bit.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, I think what actually just happened there was double standard at play, and he was pressuring her, kind of feeling like he could, when she responded the way she did, which is basically, yeah, I'm not friends with this ex, but I do follow him on Instagram, I'm guessing, but I put him on mute because I don't know, I'm not really that interested in seeing his posts. And then he could relax because his toxic masculinity, his massive insecurity isn't being challenged. And then he says, I just like to bust your chops sometimes. That's what some people will say when it's sort of like when you were 13 and someone's like, oh my God, you're going to wear that out? You look really gross today. Oh my God. And then when you react, the person's like, what? I'm just making a joke. Okay, it's a joke? Who was laughing? What kind of a joke is that? It's not a joke. And so let's rewind that. I feel like he kind of deserves it.
And why do you follow him still?
He was just one where it was like a fairly amicable, like, we're not
Yeah.
for each other.
Sorry, I don't mean to give you a hard time.
I don't know. I have no idea. You can be the judge. And, what do you think?
Just like trying to push your buttons
Oh, okay.
a little bit.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
And what? So even if that's true, like the joke about how ugly you look today, I'm just trying to push your buttons. What? So you purposely push buttons by what? Interrogating someone about their relationships? I like to push. What? You like to put? That's your recovery? That's the cover up? What's underneath that?
Yeah, I mean, I told everyone that I'm in love with you. It's like, we're gonna have kids and they're gonna be the most nutritious, best fed kids ever.
I don't know. If I had just heard that, I'd be like, yeah, what? But given everything just before this, you just think like, what do I say? I would worry for his kids. Let's just put it that way. It's, the way he phrases it, I can't wait to have kids. They're going to be the most nutritious kids on the planet, and I will make that happen. Yeah, good luck, pal. Good luck. Wait till you have kids. Wait till you have kids.
The hottest kids, sexiest kids.
Okay, anywho.
All right, let's talk about narcissism. I'm not diagnosing from afar, of course. You know me. I have no idea. It's edited. If any of us were on a show like this and you took things out of context or even in context, it's, there's a million things one could suggest one had a problem with or something, including personality disorders. But let's talk about it. So I've done whole deep dives on it. I've talked a lot about it, but briefly, I will say that people with narcissistic personality disorder will see their children as everyone in their life, their spouse and their children as an extension of themselves. At higher levels of severity of narcissism, it will become very noticeable that they only see their children as vessels for their own grandiosity. So if the kid can serve their grandiosity and their sense of superiority, like the kid is attractive or good in sports, then that aspect of that child will be praised and nurtured maybe and will be touted by the narcissistic person. But if the kid doesn't have an aspect that will support their grandiosity, then that kid is nothing or maybe even abused. and other aspects of those star children who might be becoming good at things just to please, just to get some attention from narcissistic dad, that any other aspect of that child is also not praised and not appreciated. The child is not being loved, is the thing. So I'm not saying anything about that guy. And underneath narcissism is insecurity. That's the definition. So when people are insecure, they have various different defenses available to them. And these defenses are usually developed when we're quite young, like 2 years old. And that defense involves constantly signaling to others and to yourself that you're not only okay, but you're superior, because you're trying to offset the very ingrained notion that you are not only not superior, but you're inferior, you're nothing.
I love talking to Mike. The playful banter is 1000% there.
And I will say, I'm a little disappointed that Megan didn't say anything. Now, I don't blame her. It's a weird situation, but and it's also edited, but I was thinking that Megan, upon hearing him judge Jordan's kid, who has type 1 diabetes, as being, not nutritious or not healthy or something, and blaming Jordan, I thought that Megan would, at the very least, have a cool response to it, but it just kind of went past her. I will say that, so Megan, I don't know if I probably didn't, but Megan has said that her parents, and particularly her father, she has issues with. She said, there were a lot of things I had to forgive my father for even after he died. And the father died from type 1 diabetes, complications, she was saying, not from diabetes directly. But she also talked about how he was frequently talking about how he was going to die soon. And maybe that was just a part of having his condition. But she seemed to be saying since she was 12 years old, she was in this constant state of worry and isolation or something. And she also talked about how both of her parents were pretty conflict avoidant and distant. So it makes me wonder if, given that upbringing, if things just kind of go past her, which is a product of growing up in a household like that. It's not the only profile of someone that grows up in a household like that, but you can have things come at you, and when they present a problem, it's easiest to avoid conflict by not even registering it consciously, because I would have figured Megan would have said something like, oh, or maybe Megan didn't want to reveal that she was connecting with Jordan, but I thought she, at the very least, would just have a moment, and I don't know if she didn't, but I guess I was hoping that she would say something like, well, diabetes has a number of causes, and even if it was diet related, we should probably take it easy on the kid and the parents. We don't know the situation. All right, well, let's adjourn there for now. Tune in next time when I continue watching, if you care to. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself, because you deserve it. You really, really do.